Those journalists and media analysts who are joining us virtually. Before we commence the proceedings, I would like to invite Mr. Kushagra Kumar, Executive Director at Investment Banking Access Capital Limited, to make the opening remarks as well as introduce the management.
Again, thank you all for taking time out and attending the press conference of Jana Small Finance Bank IPO. Jana has always taken pride in its commitment to the underserved communities across India. And it has done a remarkable journey ever since 2006. Over the last 18 odd years, it has transformed itself into a small finance bank, one of the top 5 in India, with assets under management of close to 21,000 odd crores, deposits of 19,000 crores. So it has a remarkable journey, and not only the size and scale is remarkable, it's also the brand commitment that it has shown towards billions of customers in India. That is also very remarkable. So on the dais today, I have from the company side Ajay Kamal, who is the Managing Director and CEO. And then I have Abhilash, who is the CFO. And from the other PRLMs, I have Pritish from ICICI Securities and Akhilesh from SBI Caps. Before we begin, let me just give you a quick gist of the issue. So the total issue size at the top end of the price band is 570 crores, out of which 462 crores is primary issuance and 108 crores is secondary issuance, secondary sale, offer for sale. The issue will open to public on 7th, which is Wednesday next week, and close on Friday, which is 9th. So far, we have received strong interest from marquee investors across the globe, which is a testament to the conviction that investors have in this story. Now, without taking further time, I would request the management team to take you through their journey and their strategy going forward. Thank you.
Glad to coming here. I'm sure you folks would have managed to get the screen right, which Kushagra was taking us through. I'll talk about the bank. I know I have about 15-20 minutes and then we'll open up for questions. But if you have a burning question you want to stop me on the way, then please feel free. So my name is Ajay Kamal and I have spent the last 6 years with Jana Bank. Prior to that, I spent roughly about 28 years in banking, 24 with Standard Chartered and about 4 with Citibank. So career banker all my life. But I must tell you, this has been the most exciting time of setting up a bank and of course, then navigating it through where we are today. So these are very simple numbers and I'm using a computer because as you get older, you can't see things far away. First is on the asset side. There are 2 points here. One is the growth rate, which is right here. So as you can expect, growth rate of the bank has been very strong. And I must say the way the economy is doing, it's normal to expect a good growth rate in assets. I think what is very important is, what are we really growing? And we'll talk a bit about that as we go later. But the most very important high level number of what are we growing is right here. We are growing secured assets. And this is a very important number because when we began the bank in 2018 in March, we were largely a microfinance institution because that was the background, which largely meant an unsecured bank. And as you know, there's a lot of discussion around unsecured assets versus secured assets. In 2018, we launched the bank. That was the first commitment that we will turn secured. So literally from zero secured, we have reached 57.8 in 5.5 years. And to our mind, this journey is a secular journey. Purely because customers' balance sheets are normally secured in nature. Their biggest loan being housing loans. Credit cards and personal loans normally doesn't form a big part of their lend borrowing. Let's move on to the next one, which is liabilities. As you can expect, it's a growing bank. It's got a good asset growth. It has got a very strong liability growth, as you can see, at 33.7%. These are all September 30th audited published numbers. Our retail deposit, which includes retail deposit and CASA, is a strong 67.2. And we have seen a bit of increase of cost of funds in the last 6 months. Our NIM is at 7.8. Very importantly, our ROE is 19%, ROA is 1.6. And both have seen significant change in the last 12 to 24 months, certainly as we come out of COVID. Favorite topic, gross NPA, net NPA. Net NPA at 0.9 and PCR at 64.5. So the whole provisioning burden of COVID has been largely finished and behind us, leaving a very small portion of net NPA. We are very well capitalized, 17.5. Importantly, tier 1 is 15.7, which means you've got enough room for tier 2 capital if you want to raise it. So with this IPO, we have got enough headroom to grow for the next few years. We are in 24 states, 22 states plus 2 union territories, 4.9 million customers and 771 banking outlets. So that's a broad gist of the bank. Long history, like you heard from Kushagra, which is 2006 we began. So we have got a very long history of lending, mainly in microfinance and in the parts where banks are not very present. So we have good history of how to do lending into through various different risk models. This is the products that I spoke of being secure in nature. First one being micro lab, average ticket size around 10 lakhs, 0.95. You can see the growth rate is very high and very strong, and we would like to grow secured much faster. Then MSME loans at average ticket size of 34 lakhs, affordable housing at 12.6 lakhs. So if you look at the main businesses of the bank, these are the top 3 businesses, which is MSME, affordable housing and micro loan. Rest, the big business, other than that, is our well practiced, over the years developed business of microfinance, which you put under unsecured right here. So that's largely the breakup of the products of the bank. Where are we focused on and what are we doing? I just want to make a stop and say what is that we are trying to achieve as a bank. And I do feel that the part which remains underserved is the middle to bottom end of the country. And as you can expect, in most parts, it is the credit penetration which is weak. What we aim to be is the bank of first choice for our customers. So which means no customer, whether you are rich or you are not very rich, likes to go to 10 different banks with 10 different KYC with 10 different answers. As long as you can get your answer from a single bank, that's your first preference. Because the bank knows you, you are comfortable, and can take an easy decision. So what we are really building it through all these products is making sure our customers can bank with us on multiple times, whatever his needs are. And when you actually start with a home loan or a LAP, you really are developing a 7 to 10 year relationship with the bank, because that is the length of a home loan typically. During that 7 to 10 years, you are any need of borrowing, whether it's a business loan, personal loan, two-wheeler loan, gold loan, fixed deposit, recurring deposit, we would like to make sure that you as a bank, as a customer, choose us as your bank of first choice. And that is what we're building, the bank of first choice for the middle segment of India. The other piece that is very important is the liability side. And on the liability side, we tend to compete with the best private sector banks and public sector banks in the country. And we are fully endowed with everything, which means we have video KYC, digital onboarding, 24/7 multilingual call center. We have 8 to 9 different variants of savings account, including choose your account number. We have got 7 variants of current account, including sweep your surplus balance into a fixed deposit. So from a liability side, as you know, it's a bit of hard work for us when we began as a bank, because you are new on the horizon, customers don't know you, your brand is new, at least on the liability side. But I must say we got very good reception. Our branches, our services, our products, they compete with the best in the market. And some of you must have seen in your own media advertising, we are undertaking a deposit campaign which was great. But one thing if you want to remember about Small Finance Bank, Jana Small Finance Bank liability business, it is as competitive in its products and featured as any bank, because that's what we compete with for the money. And I showed you the growth rate year on year. It was 33%. 33.7% was the liability growth rate. So we are getting wonderful reception from customers. Fourth largest bank, Small Finance Bank, which is going for IPO now. Our share of secured, very important to us, because that shows a very resilient, very stable future for us as we become more and more secured. You can see that even during COVID, we don't have a growth rate issue. So secured has been growing at 42% even during the COVID period. And of course, disbursements in good health. I think the most important piece on this page is to look at this graph here. Typically, everybody would like to know how many states are you in, what is the concentration. So our concentration, the top 3 states are Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. We are present in 24 states, but these 3 states are our top 3 states and they account for 38% of our total business. So we got a very strong middle order also. So for example, I remember that the 4th state is MP and so on and so forth. Later you will see that as a small finance bank, we have the least amount of geographical concentration. That is the most important thing that I would like to remind on this page. The other piece that is key in this page, of course, I mentioned we are present in 24 states, so it's a national presence. 771 banking outlets, so it's a large, scalable business. And our BC concentration. So when we do microfinance business, we of course work with partnerships of many banking correspondents, and that contributes to roughly about 10% of our microfinance business. So those are the important pieces on this page. I mentioned earlier we're the most diversified small finance bank at 38.2, that is right here. The other important piece on this page is 36.1%. This is the amount of unbanked rural centers Jana Small Finance Bank has. The RBI norm for all scheduled commercial banks, we are a scheduled commercial bank, so we also form under the same norm, is 25%. We largely use this to do GLG model, which is the group guarantee model of microfinance in these unbanked rural centers. And as these rural centers become more and more populous or economically more activity, then we take new products like MSME, etc. in these URCs. But I would think this is a very important point to note, because that's what the expectation from small finance banks was, to create more financial inclusion. Now here we talk about, this page is about deposits and liquidity. So our CASA ratio is at 20.5%. It has only grown a bit in the first half. And as you know, in the last few months, the deposit rates have gone up and growing CASA has been up. But our bank has been working very hard, both by growing branches, segment offers, more RMs. We've been growing our CASA base too. The other piece that you should see here again is, in liabilities there is no concentration of geography either. So geography wise also we are very diverse, and which makes a bank much more safer and much more resilient, because we are not really getting concentrated on anything. Increase in cost of funds over the last 6 months is right here. From a 7.2 we have become a 7.5%. Technology. So our bias really is that anything can be done with technology, then we should not use paper. And for us, the start point is how do we make sure customers experience it. So if you come to our bank to get an affordable housing loan, when my salesperson meets you in the morning, he will have a mobile phone. He'll enter your entire data on the mobile, no application form. The moment he finishes that, automatically do scoring. It will check the bureau, it will check UIDI, and if it meets our parameters, the same data will go to the tab of an underwriter. The underwriter will arrive at the customer's office with his tab, do all the question answering, check the bank statement, etc. Input everything in the tab. Let's take it takes 2-3 hours or 4 hours to do it because he has to travel, he has to meet you, ask you questions, fill it up. Moment he presses enter, it will straight go to our Bangalore back office where the approver is sitting. An affordable housing loan is done in a few hours in Jana Bank. It is faster than most prime housing loan that is being disbursed. And we are doing it because we are very focused on becoming the digital first choice bank. And I can tell you the reception both from customers and our staff is tremendous. Because it doesn't matter whether you're taking a housing loan which is affordable or prime. What you want is a quick decision, right? You immediately want to know yes or no, right? Or what else document do you want? Let's finish it fast. No, we have not met a customer who said, take your time, give me my loan answer in a month. There is no such individual. Our bias is fast turnaround time and complete transparency. So even if you have to say no, let's say it first. Let's not keep the customer hanging. Possible only through technology. Imagine we are in 24 states, but we are very sure that if the customer has the documentation, we will finish everything in the same day. And that is true for everything, whether it's a two-wheeler, it's a housing product, it is an answer on microfinance, everything gets done. The only thing which takes 4 days are the MSME proposals. Because then we have to take GST and we have to do proper analysis because they are bigger ticket. Other than that, everything gets done the same hour. Similarly, all our backend, we want to make sure has least amount of mistakes. Robotizing the backend has been important for us. So I must say that we must be amongst the most robotized back office in the banking industry. Much easier for us because when we began our bank, we had no legacy systems. Easy for us to start fresh, do the best technology possible. We've chosen to do that, and that is one of the reasons the cost income ratio, our servicing ability, our turnaround time is very quick.